All right, we're live. Today is Friday, September 9th, 2022. I know this is an hour and a half earlier than I normally do it at 12 o'clock. I have an appointment today, and I wanted to do this show because I think it's pretty important with all the bad stuff out there in the market that we buy to freshen up our homes, to add, to get rid of odors that might be in our home, right? A lot of us go out and buy those over the counter products, and we've done it where you plug it, some you plug into the wall, some you just put on a shelf or on your desk, in your car, right? You've seen those air fresheners in a car, things like that. Now, something that most people don't really realize, and I understand this real well because when my wife got mold poisoning almost 24 years ago, and we were living in Taos, New Mexico, and it really damaged her immune system. She can't be around synthetic smells because she starts to lose her voice, she starts to break out in a rash, her heart starts beating fast. So it's pretty scary, right? And so we've learned over the years how to treat our house. We don't use chemicals in our home. Everything we use is natural. In fact, I used to make our own cleaning products when I used to make lotions and things like that. And that's why I started making lotions years ago and studied aromatherapy for 10 years, was because of my wife, right? I wanted to help her. Then I found out I was able to help other people because of the industry I was in when I had the restoration company, and people wanted their houses tested for mold and other things. I had a lot of clients that had Lyme disease, things like that. So I've learned a lot over the years about, our immune system and how important it is to guard it. So if you're using products in your home right now, or even our members that are watching this right now, if you guys and gals are, not showing your clients when you go out and do odor removal, carpet cleaning, whatever your job is that you go out and do every day, if you're not showing clients these products, these three I'm about to talk about, you're doing them a great disservice, because it is extremely dangerous to be breathing chemicals that you can't even read on an ingredient list. And so I think it's important that we start switching from some of the stuff that are masking agents, which a lot of them are. They're a mask, like they'll put a scent out to cover up another scent. What is that really doing to your body? And you understand that. Here's the thing: a lot of you out there, you might be 20 years old and nothing bothers you, right? Your immune system is extremely strong. It doesn't matter if you have perfume on or what. And as the years go by, you start to notice that one day you wake up and you're like, man, I'm all congested. And you put this perfume on, or you're walking past the tire out alley aisle, not alley aisle, right? And you might be at a store and there's all those petrochemicals, and you start, losing your voice, or you start feeling bad or lightheaded. You might be in a perfume aisle, and which a lot of perfumes are synthetic odor, right? It gives you that. It smells really good, right? But it's synthetic. So at some point, that's going to affect all of us. I'm lucky that when this happened to my wife, I had to start living just like her, because I can't have cologne on or underarm deodorant that has a synthetic smell to it. Everything I use is natural, no scent. And if we do use scents, we use essential oils. And now, of course, we clean our home with chlorine dioxide because it's extremely safe. I mean, it's in our water plants to clean our water. It's used in grocery stores when they spray the vegetables to keep vegetables lasting longer, and it's safe because it sprays on there and you're going to eat it, right? Now, that's not saying much when a lot of stuff that we buy at the store has had pesticides all over it since its birth to picking, right? And since it was first planted, and then you pick it, it has all this stuff put on it to protect it from insects, right? That's why I like buying organic, but not everybody can afford organic. So I suggest you can even use our product to clean your vegetables and clean your fruits before you eat it. And the thing that chlorine dioxide does is it kills bacteria, and bacteria is what makes it, rot quicker. So if you're killing the bacteria, and I use one of the products I'm going to show you today, I use in our refrigerator, and I use it in our, I don't know how good it's doing in our freezer, but I put it in the freezer because I have one, right? But I probably wouldn't do that if I were you and spend the money on it. I just happen to have some, and I put one out there. It's probably frozen and doing no good. But my refrigerator, it does a lot of good. I mean, I've noticed that my lettuce will last, oh my gosh, 50% longer, maybe more than that, right? Like you can put stuff in there and it just lasts longer because if you kill the bacteria, it doesn't degrade as fast, okay? All right, so I'm going to be sharing my screen. We're going to be talking about these products that are extremely safe, and I implore you to tell your clients about these things. Sell these to your clients. Help them help themselves and not use some of these products that are over the counter that are quite frankly more expensive than ours. And ours is completely safe. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen because I want to go over this. Give me a second. Share. All right, I hope you all can see this. So I'm on our website, Envirotize Solutions. And this is our EnviroTab and Envirotizer products right here on this page. So the number one thing that you're looking at right here is this cab. Let's get a quick view. See the cabinet right here, the holder, the container. This is what you're going to put our 20 gram and our 50 gram sachets in. Now we are working on rebranding the name only because a 20 gram sachet doesn't really tell you a lot what it is, right? We know that it's great for, for odors in a home and for allergens in a home and killing bacteria and things like that. It's a great product, but we have these containers here. So you can, because when you open these up, it's just a sachet with all these, it feels like BBs, right? But it's actually chlorine dioxide that lets out a small amount, small parts per million of chlorine dioxide, okay, into the air, into the living space. All right, let's go look at some of these. This is our 20 grams. So this is the one that's the smallest. And what you're going to do with this is you can use this in a room 10 by 10, something like that, right? I really like the 50 gram better for that, or the gel kit, which we're going to be talking about in a minute. I love these 20 grams for one reason. I put one each, not inside the cabinet. I take it out of the package. I use one each in my shoes at night because, of course, if I'm wearing shoes and I'm walking around, a lot of you know that I work out of my office, so I'm not always walking, but my feet seem to sweat a little bit and they smell. And a lot of us have that problem. It's like, oh my God, I got to put these outside. Like some of you have probably had your spouse or if you're a parent, tell your kids, put those shoes out and outside, man. They smell atrocious. They smell terrible, right? So from that feet smell, I put a sachet in my shoe each night, and it gets rid of that odor. It takes care of it. Now, what I do is I have I put it in I have like a garbage bag that you would, a small garbage bag that you would probably put inside a little trash can. And I put my shoes in there with the sachets inside the shoe. Okay. And it works great. Imagine doing it in like the bottom of a diaper pail, right? You have a baby, you have diapers. That's going to help with that odor. You might need to move up to the 50 gram because diapers are pretty strong smelling. So are my shoes. But I have a 20 gram in each shoe and it works great. And then I put it in a bag so it stays in there, right? It works perfect for that. It's great. Let's say you have a closet and it's a musty closet smelling because it's always closed up and it might be on an outside wall in a high humidity city. In Colorado, we don't have that type of humidity, but a lot of you do. Think of, like Houston or Florida or Alabama, all those southern states that get really hot and humid, right? All of Texas is pretty much humid, by the way. I live there. That's where my wife's from. But these are great for shoes. They're great for laundry bags. They're great for a lot of different places, right? So, and for small areas, maybe you have a hall bathroom and you want to put one in there. So you're going to put it in the cabinet right here that's on the picture. You'll put it in the cabinet and then you'll, you can just put it inside any room that's small like that, right? You just put it in there and let it do its job. And if the odor is really strong and it seems to be too much, then you can move up to the 50 gram. Okay, so 2.5 times stronger than this one. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Oh. Okay. All right. So I had a text and it was important. I just had a text back. So think about the 20 gram in smaller areas. Like I said, a small closet, a small, a lot of us have those bathrooms, for our guests, and all it has is a sink and a toilet, and those could smell. And these cabinets, the way I did it in my house, I now use the gel kits, which I'll be talking about here in a second a lot, right? But I put these above the door frame, right? The door, you have your door and then you have the frame around it and it just sits up there. And I usually get like that double-sided tape on the other side of it, and it kind of sits right there. It doesn't hurt the wall because it's not sticky enough to peel paint, but it doesn't move. And now it's in that room, and every 30 days, I change it out. Now these will last up to 90 days. I love it when it's at that full strength. It's like anything. As each day goes on, it loses a little bit more power until there's nothing left, and you replace it. They are so inexpensive, $3.75 each retail, that I would just replace them every once a month. But you can go up to 90 days, just like it says on here. Okay, these are great for in your car. I was talking about refrigerators. That's right, or gym bags and lockers. Listen. In your car, let's say you have a car and maybe you smoke or something, right? And you want it to smell a little better. You can take these 20 grams and put in these things and put one under each seat, and it's going to keep your car smelling fresh. All right. So it's going to really help with smells in your car. But you got to look at this not just an odor. Chlorine dioxide also denatures allergens. So if you're allergic to dog dander or cat dander or pollens and things like that, chlorine dioxide is one of the best products in the world to denature allergens. It basically changes the structure of the allergen so your body doesn't recognize it and you don't have an allergy attack. And I'll be talking about that in a second also. So it's a great all-around product because it just removes bacteria and molds and all the things that are harmful to us, odors and those kind of things. Anytime you smell an odor, it's always bad, right? Because an odor is an off-gassing of the bacteria. So it's not something you really want to breathe, right? Odors are not good. If your house smells like cat urine, you're breathing in that, oh my gosh, it's just bad to do. So you want to be able to take care of that. Okay, so that's a 20 gram, okay? Now, let's go to the 50 gram right here. So the 50 gram is only $7.50. It's 2.5 times stronger, but this is what I might use in a room 10 by 10. I have found that the 20 gram works great in shoes and bags, like let's say your child or you play hockey or you play baseball or football and you have your gym bag, right? And it smells terrible. Well, you can drop one of these in it. You always want to use our cabinet when you're doing that because you don't want it touching the clothes because chlorine dioxide could, if it's touching it, bleach a spot, right? So that's why we always have it in here. But it's highly unlikely that's going to happen. I just love these. Now this is what I use. I use the 50 gram in my refrigerator, right? I was using the 20 gram, it was working great, and I was like, my wife's from Texas, like I said, and in Texas they say go big or go home. So I decided to go big instead of going home. And I use a 50 gram in there. And I swear, like lettuce can last it seems like 6 weeks when it used to last like a week, right? Because it starts to wilt. It's just I'll put tomatoes in there now to protect them and do that. Now, I don't have any data on this yet, but what I just started doing, because I like tomatoes and cucumbers and things like that at room temperature. I don't like them cold. So we have like this, it's like a Tupperware thing that we put them in. And I'll put a 20 gram inside there to keep them from going bad. I tested some strawberries, and how if you leave strawberries out, Oh, like within 3 or 4 days, if they're out, they'll start to, rot a little bit. They start to get soft and all that. I tested strawberries for a week, and they were just as good as they were the day I got them. And here in Fort Collins, we have several farms. One in particular that I go to, and my wife goes to, where you can pick your own strawberries up until October. It's awesome, man. Growing up in the Salinas Valley in California, the one thing that was so cool is we're right there with all that fresh produce. If you've ever tasted strawberries right off the vine, it is so unbelievably good when you let them get ripe and eat them. Oh my gosh. So we go pick our own, right? And I do this to protect them. So it works. And it works in the refrigerator. I just put it in a cabinet and I put it in there. Okay. So there's all these uses. Of course, 50 grams, 2.5 times stronger than a 20 grams. So I would use these in a room. But I do something a little bit different in a room, and I'll talk about this at another time. But real quick, I'll mention it. Colorado has low humidity, so this is a great state. Like Arizona is another great state. New Mexico, all these northern states or central states that have low humidity, like us, we like to use humidifiers, right? Because our air is so dry. If you just moved here from a southern state, you're going to start getting nosebleeds because your body isn't used to this dry air. It's used to 70, 80, 90, 100% humidity when you live in these southern states. And you move here and all of a sudden it's 10% or 5. Like in the winter, it could be like almost zero, like hardly no humidity. So we use humidifiers to bring humidity into our homes. I will take our 1 gram tablet or a 4 gram tablet. My wife, I use the 1 gram because my wife, because it has no smell whatsoever. It doesn't have like a slight chlorine smell because it's a small amount. And I humidify our house using chlorine dioxide because if it's airborne like that, just like our 50 gram here or a 20 gram or the gel kit I'm going to talk about, it's getting into the air and it's grabbing all the bad stuff that's in the air or on the walls or on our furniture because it settles everywhere and it's basically destroying it. So, and it's such a great way to get rid of allergens in your home, right? Like if you're trying to do it yourself, if you're a homeowner. I have a video testimony from my wife's cousin who has terrible allergies, like terrible. It's so sad. She was using our gel kit in her apartment and it helped her immensely because it gets rid of all those allergens, even pollens, right? So it's a continual thing because you're always opening your doors. And if you have a cat or a dog and you weren't allergic, you got your dog 5 years ago, you're 45 years old, all of a sudden you're 50 and you're starting to be allergic to your pet. Well, you almost no one that I know is going to get rid of their pet. I'm definitely not, right? I'm going to suffer, but we have a way to help them maintain that home. Now, we usually go into homes like that and we'll shock it with our gas treatment. And then we use these as a maintenance and then might come back every 3 months if they're keeping the pet because you're not getting rid of the source. You're definitely not getting rid of pollens. They come every year, right? Spring and fall, even through the summer. People that have allergies sometimes seem to have it all year long. But I love our 50 gram inside this cabinet for a little bit bigger rooms. I love using it in my refrigerator. I love using it like even in cabinets where you keep bread and stuff like that. Everything, all food, once opened and when air is hitting it, is prone to degrade. It starts degrading immediately, okay? Because the bacteria starts growing. It's got air now. And so this just keeps that bacteria at bay, so your product lasts a lot longer, and it doesn't affect the taste. It does nothing to you at all. It's completely safe. Okay. Now I wouldn't eat this because that's not safe. But at low parts per million being distributed into the air or into a container or a refrigerator is very safe. Okay. Now the gel kit right here. I love the gel kit, and we have refill packs, but let's look at this. I love the gel kits because they are much stronger than our sachets, our 20 gram and 50 gram. It's a much stronger product. And what's really cool about it, see this top right here, and it has these little slots in it. Well, you can open it all the way if you're in a bigger room, or close it and just open it like a quarter, right? For a smaller room. I start, I don't have one on my desk right now, but I will here pretty soon. I usually have one on my desk because it's really good just to breathe a small amount of chlorine dioxide. For me, it is anyway. And it gets rid of it's just good for the health of my room, of my office, right? Because it's killing the bad stuff in the air. So it's protecting me, especially in the wintertime. That's when I really start doing this, because that's when cold flu season happens and the dreaded COVID, right? And we got all these things that we're thinking about, and we start getting sick. We start getting these flus and these colds in the winter because we're locked up in a room. We're not out in the sun like the summer and the spring and the early fall, where we have the sun giving us all that vitamin D, right? That fights off those types of things like colds and flus. And, so in the wintertime, we're basically in the shade in a house because we're freezing. Okay, or something like that. So I love using this. I use this in combination with the 1 gram in a gallon of water in my humidifier. Most of you would probably want to use a 4 gram. It's 106 parts per million. But by the time it fills a room, it's way diluted. It's just a great way to keep your home sanitized. And believe me, I do it. And I know a lot of people that have gotten the flu several times, right? And I haven't, because I believe it's our products are killing the whatever's in the air is getting rid of it. And if you ever look up all the uses of chlorine dioxide and all these products that are EPA registered that use chlorine dioxide, you'll start to see, how well it works for almost anything in a home to do with odor, allergens. You want to get rid of something bad like bacteria or mold or things like that. It's a great product for that. It's one of the best, and it's so good because it's so safe. Being in the restoration industry for all those years, I was in the restoration industry doing water damage and mold and sewage and fires and all this. I've dealt with odors and bad stuff for years, 27 years to be exact, before I sold it. I have a lot of knowledge in this arena. And those of you that are in restoration know that we use products that, yes, it kills all that bad stuff from a sewage backup, right? It definitely does that, but it also could kill us. And there's a lot of documentation right now out there now related to some of these bad chemicals and not using a respirator, and how people have gotten sick and gotten emphysema. And I'm not going to name any products. What they are, but we use I push this now. We use chlorine dioxide in higher doses than this, of course, but because it's so safe for the user, it's so safe for your employees and for you. Why would you use something that's so dangerous? You got to have full face respirator on and make sure you don't breathe it, right? Because it's so dangerous to use. Now there's a way to get away from that. So if you're interested in some of the stuff for the restoration industry, just give us a call. We'll talk to you about this. But today we're talking about air fresheners in a home. But like I said, I love the gel kit. I absolutely love it. $9.95. This thing's going to last 30 days. It's up to 45 days, right? I like changing things every 30 days, like I said, because it's easy for me. Now, what's really cool about this is we have a refill kit for just $5.95. So you can keep your container, you clean it out, and we teach you how to do that. It's pretty simple. What I usually do is I take a tea kettle and I will pour some really hot boiling water in it. It dissolves the gel, because the way this works, there's a packet with some gel and chlorine dioxide, and then you add water to the fill line, pretty much on like the top of this label right here, right? And within minutes, it turns into a gel, and it releases that low parts per million of chlorine dioxide for up to 45 days. Well, to get rid of it, it's a gel, so you got to get it out of there. And what I used to do, and I don't do it anymore because I started thinking about this. I used to just use hot water in my sink and pour it down my sink. But then I started thinking, well, what happens when it sits in my pipe? Will it gel up and then gradually build up and clog my drain? That hasn't happened to me. And I've done that for several years in one of my houses. But it, but I started thinking about that and I stopped, right? So I started using a tea kettle. I pour that in, it dissolves it. And all I do, because it doesn't hurt anything, I just pour it in on my ground in my backyard or something like that, because there's nothing going to hurt anything, or in the trash can, right? So it doesn't matter. Just get rid of it. And I probably wouldn't put it down the drain because of what I just said, because once it cools down, it could gel again. Now I don't know, it's of course it's water and it's flowing and it's not all together in a container. I could be completely wrong about that. Like it's never going to gel in a pipe because it just gets washed out. But I just like erring on the side of safety. Okay, so this is a perfect product for your home. I use my office is 10 by 12. This is, you can use them like up to 100 square feet, right? And or more than 100 square feet. You can use this up to like 250 square feet, right? So I think what we wrote here, up to 10 by 10 room, this could be bigger. It could be, it could be up to 250 square feet. This will work. I like using it in smaller areas, so I just do it that way. But you can use this up to 250 square feet. I know that you can buy some of these products that you plug into the wall and they say to do your whole house, but do you really want to be breathing something that you can't read over and over and over again, day and night? Do you know why you're sleeping? Your body's immune system is building itself. So the more stuff it has to tackle while it's sleeping to ward off, like some of the stuff that you might be breathing from one of those other deodorizers that has all synthetic stuff in it, because your body's fighting that now. It can't repair your body completely. Now, I'm not a doctor. This is just my idea of learning about immune systems, because my wife and I have spent more money than most people make, right, on doctors when she first got sick. So I understand a lot about the immune system only because of her and what we had to do. And when we started using, non-synthetic odors and smells and stuff like that in our home, and chemicals to clean with, she started to get better. So I figured out how to help her. And we use these in our home and it doesn't affect her. Even bleach will affect her, like, common bleach, if we use it. But and this smells sort of like that, because it has a chlorine smell. It's like a cat and a dog. They're not the same, right? They're animals, but they're not the same at all. So this has none of the bad stuff that bleach might have. Like bleach is considered a carcinogen and a corrosive. This isn't. That now in high concentrations, high parts per million, if you pour it on something, it can be corrosive. But like this, not at all. And so when I first started using chlorine dioxide in our homes like 7 years ago, she freaked out because it smelled like chlorine a little bit, and then nothing happened. And that's when I knew I wanted to be part of this. I wanted to make sure the world knew about chlorine dioxide. I started using it in my business when I still owned it. Now I help over 200 people worldwide use our products to get rid of odors and allergens and all the bad stuff. But I wanted you to see this. I think it's important. Go to Envirotize Solutions and then pick your state where you reside, and we have master dealers in almost every state, and they can help you with this product. You can buy it right on their website. If you are a business, if you're a carpet cleaner, you're a house cleaner, whatever, you really need to stock these, or talk to us about buying wholesale and bulk, so you can resell these to your clients, because they deserve the best. They deserve to be safe. They deserve to not have to breathe synthetics. Let's help them out. Okay, let's do that for our clients. Let me stop sharing. Go back here. All right, so thank you all so much for watching today. I know it was earlier than normal. I'm not going to be here at 12. I got an appointment with my wife, but I really appreciate you all being here. See you Monday. Have a great weekend. And listen, let's get those bad things out of our house, those bad chemicals, bad odor, odor removing products that you might be using, right? Deodorizers. And let's replace it with something safe and something that actually works. It doesn't cover up the smell. It basically burns it up. It's an oxidizer. It takes that odor that's floating around, it encapsulates it and burns it up, and it's gone completely. It's not a mask, where this cherry smell or lemon smell is much bigger than this little odor over here. So it smells until it runs out of smell, right? So you're smelling that, but you're still breathing in the bad stuff. Believe me. Okay. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Oh my gosh, in Fort Collins, it's been almost 100 every day. We're having a heat wave, and today's going to be like 68 degrees. Tomorrow's in the 50s. It's a beautiful weekend of cool weather, and then it warms back up into the high 80s next week. But living in Colorado, what do we know? We know we're only a few weeks away from awesome, awesome 60, 70 degree weather every day. All right, have a great day. You guys are all awesome, and God bless.